Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's October 4th, 2024. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you, and we don't screw around. We will do elections, the proposals from the elections. We'll do it without any bias, agenda, or ulterior motive, and you know us by now on how we feel. We'll do the markets, the economy, jobs, your industry, everything that matters, and we will, how do I put this mildly? Well, you'll get it in a minute. But first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you probably should. And if you want to email me, all you got to do is be nice, because we're very nice. I swear. And that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, when we give you our opinions, we try to base our opinions on facts. We're not talking markets. We're talking about what the Morlocks are doing and the future of this country. I have a grandson right now, so I not only care about my sons, but now I have a grandson. And I am watching one of the great con jobs in history in real time. And when I say that to you, you may think it's an opinion, but then I come back at you, let me explain. So we just want to let you know, how is it about 8 weeks ago, we started on this show telling you there will be no bad economic numbers going into the election. Do you remember that? That's what we told you. Every economic number coming from our government is going to be just fine, if not good. We said that to you. And now we're getting supposed, notice the word supposed, fabulous economic numbers. They came out with a jobs report today that was just much stronger than expected. Now, in case you don't know, government statistics, go look up how they come up with their jobs numbers. I want you to just go look up. Don't believe me. I want you to look up, how does our government come up with the jobs numbers? And you will note that when you read it, they do a sampling. You know when I tell you I do a small sampling? Well, it's based on a small sampling. And then we extrapolate. Well, they do a small sampling also, our government, and they're supposed to extrapolate on the country. Why would we trust them? Why would we trust an administration? Listen carefully. These are not typos. Why would we trust an administration that last month ran a $380 billion deficit? They spent $380 billion more than they're supposed to, leading up to an election. How is it in the last 15 months they are running $4.2 trillion deficit? What? What? That comes out to over $3 trillion a year. Well, why would they do that? Well, let me explain. They are doing it in a run-up to the election because numbers spent by all, you, me, them, goes into the economy and feeds the economy. It's one of the greatest financial con games I have ever seen in numbers. So now they tell us the jobs number much better than expected. I got news for you. I hope it's correct, because anybody with a job it's great to hear. It's great to hear. We love people that have jobs. But I know better. Why would I believe people that have been lying to us left and right about everything? He was out today lying again, saying he's under his administration, they created 16 million jobs. 9 of it is coming back from COVID. So we're just letting you know we don't believe a word they have to say. We hope the numbers are correct. But the old line, fool me once, comes to mind. Let me repeat something. 4.2 trillion overspending in the last 15 months. Last month, 380 billion. I rest my case on the feelings that I have. But that all said, I want to segue quickly to one thing first, and then we'll broaden it out. Facebook, now called Meta. In the year 2024, we have talked about a lot of stocks on this show and a lot of sectors. The big breakout in gold. And what have we said to you about big breakouts? They may not work, but typically big breakouts do work. And what is a breakout? Well, it's just price cannot get above a certain level for a good period of time and then finally does it. It's in a new area of price appreciation, and the longer it's been in a trading range, the better the move. Well, we gave you the number on the GLD if it broke above about 195. And the GLD now is 245. That's this year. But in January, and we mentioned this yesterday, we're doing it again, we gave you out NVIDIA. And we're very careful with our shows and TV appearances about mentioning things in really specific / conviction-like stuff, because we know there are people that'll listen on Monday but won't listen on Tuesday. We know all this. But we said to you leading up to January 8th that NVIDIA was setting up 5 months of range, a break above $505, and boom, it went up to almost 1,000. And these things are rare. Stocks that trade in the range, great growth names that'll sit around for 5 months, hitting a number, backing off, hitting a number, backing off, hitting a number, backing off, and then finally breaking through, those are rare. Well, fast forward. We just gave you out Meta, Facebook. And you do know we had bought it first in January, made very good money. Well, what did Meta do? Well, it hit 523 in March. It hit 531 in April. It hit 542 in July, 544 in August. Now, those aren't exact numbers, but they're kind of close. And you can draw a line. Let's just use 545 because that was basically the high of August. We said to you a move above 545 would be a multi-month breakout in one of the important stocks out there. From the breakout day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Today's the 11th day. 545 to 596. Just letting you know. So going forward, when we're able to say to you, important name, 5-month breakout, 4-month breakout, 8-month breakout, we hope you're listening. Because they are rare. And usually they come from bear markets or big corrections in markets. But sometimes great stocks will sit around for 5 months even as the market's gone up because they had too big of a move for a period of time and they need to I guess the word is digest the gains. So just letting you know, another one on the move. And it looks like we told our peeps yesterday we think it's probably going to tag the 600. These things go to big numbers, 500, 400, 300, 600. And it closed at about 596 today. And we'll see what happens from there. Simple as that. And we'll keep doing what we're doing. Put our best foot forward at all times. Up next, what else we got for you? Good day in the market today. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, everything I say to you about this administration, I would say straight to their faces. They're using debt to try and win the election. And I would say it to their faces. They can't use taxpayer dollars. They've already run through that. They're using debt to win the election. Just remember, $1 of government spending, whether it's debt or not, goes to GDP, goes to industry, which could create jobs. Now, when all's said and done, it's not the news, it's how markets react to the news. Dow up 340, about 0.8%. S&P up 1%. NASDAQ about 1.1%. NASDAQ 100 1.2%. Very good day. And most importantly, leadership. Like what we saw today. The only issue was yields spiked again. So housing related utilities came in. But the market making a bet on stronger growth, and that's all well and good. I'm all for it. So the 10-year yield spiking. The 3.981 was 3.6 recently. That means your mortgage rates are going to be going up in the couple of weeks ahead. But it's because the market listen to the government stats, and we'll see what happens. Besides that, I got nothing bad to say about what we saw today. Let's just go through a few things. I'll tell you what I like. American Express is at a new yearly high. That's in the Dow. I like that. Insurance stocks look like they're going to get going again. I like that. Leading growth names. I mentioned Meta. I like that. I saw it also in names like ServiceNow and Arista Networks. Oracle looks like it may be ready to make another move. I can give you a decent list. Financials, which have been not that great, had a pretty decent day. Nothing breaking out as of yet, but I must tell you, I'm watching Morgan Stanley. MS got an upgrade today. Looks like it wants to break out of about 3 months of range. Goldman, not there yet. That's about 4 months of range. That needs work. JP Morgan needs work. There's only a couple of banks that are in pretty decent shape. We're talking big banks. Morgan Stanley's one. Bank of New York has been strong also. China, another good day today. And I mentioned that on TV today, that you got this little 1-2 punch of our Fed lowering rates in China. They're 10 bazookas. Retail had a good day today. Now, as you know, a lot of retail stocks are in a bear market. But I like the action today, and we'll see if anything comes out of it. Remember, great setups take time to get the hell out to the upside, but saw good action there. And just overall tone, pretty darn good. I even saw my left screen today, that crappy left screen of mine of bad stocks that used to be good was mostly green today. And we'll see what comes of it. We're always looking to move from that screen to another screen in hopes that more leadership shows up. The semiconductors today still need work. As we told you, we probed NVIDIA again a couple of days ago, and so far so good. I love, listen carefully, we're setting you up for potential of the future, going back to NVIDIA of 2023 and the breakout of January of 2024 that went from almost 100% in a matter of like 9 weeks. That only occurred because 5 months sat around, did nothing. Guess what it's been doing since June? Topped out at 140.76. Dropped as low as 90. That was the big reversal day. Closed at 100. So at 100, that we use as our big gargantuan support level. But now it's built a higher low in and around, we'll call it the 115, 120 range. And now what it needs to do, break above the recent high, which is like 128. Then 131, then 136, then 140.76. It's acting like it did in the 5 months of the last move so far. Doesn't mean the same thing's going to happen, and it's farther along its move. But man, oh man, if it decides to do that again, we're going to own a big position in it. We've already probed the pullback. And now we'll see from here. So be ready. Rarefied air if it continues doing what it's doing. And that should carry some other things along with it. Other big cap stocks, the megas, not so great, but Oracle looks about ready. Netflix looks about ready. Others not so great. We'll keep you informed. But again, I want to repeat, I don't have much bad to tell you. When things get bad, we're able to tell you. But just a good day, there are a few groups that are bearish. Oils have been coming on higher oil prices. I got a few oil stocks at new yearly highs. But I got a lot of oil stocks way down in their bearish phases, though most of them bounced in the last week off of Middle East strife. The talk of, and I don't know why they opened their frickin' mouths, Biden administration talking about when we spoke to Israel and, maybe we're going to look at the taking out the Iran's oil I don't think that would be a good move on their part because it hurts everybody. I think there are other things they can do, but guess what? I'm not running the joint. So stay tuned. Good stuff. The S&P is not broken to the highs yet. It just got back the last few days, which is just fine and dandy. The Dow is not at the highs yet. Just got back the last few days. The NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100 got a lot more work to do, but definitively better. Up next, whatever else. We got plenty. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. So I just want to be a little bit repetitive. I'm not a Debbie Downer, but I'm quite the factual person. This administration spent $380 billion they don't have last month. This administration has spent $4.2 trillion they don't have in the last 15 months. All that goes into GDP, into the economy, and into industry. Pretty sure it was around 8 weeks ago we started telling you there's going to be no bad numbers going into the election. That was not sarcasm, that is belief. We do believe they're con artists. We hate saying it. We don't want to believe it. But they've proven us right. Just the numbers. And of course, the media will not report it at all. Because the media don't care about you. Their goal is to get their person into the White House. They hate Trump. And by the way, I'm no Trump fan either. That's the story. Unreported. I'd be willing to bet a few of you and give you odds that after the election, all of a sudden the economic numbers may not be so great. Game on. They know what they're doing. And it's amazing how doofus the Republicans are not even bringing this up. But they're in their own little box trying to figure life in general out. Trump out yesterday saying he didn't lose the last election. Yeah, that'll win votes. And the media's all in. CBS putting out Trump and J.D. Vance are lying about Kamala Harris being the border czar. Well, smart people on Twitter put out a video of CBS reporters saying it was announced today Joe Biden said Kamala Harris is the border czar. So they will just lie to your face. There's a Politico headline about beards. Beards. That J.D. Vance's beard is suspect. But when a Democrat had a beard, ooh, it's manly. Game on. I weep. The Ebola virus versus the bubonic plague. Tariffs. Trump's announcing tariffs on everything. That's a tax increase on you and me and the economy. But let's go with that. And then on the other side, the Dems, they're heralding. You know what they're heralding? That the Cheneys are backing Kamala Harris. They called the Cheneys Darth Vader and scum. They called Dick Cheney a murderer. He's a murderer. But now they like him. There's your politics for you, both sides. That's how you get to 35 trillion of debt. That's how you get to 60 trillion in 10 years, if not more. They'll all be dead or retired by that time, and the new people will just blame each other, and we'll be the victims. But I just want to repeat again, because it bears repeating, this administration spent $380 billion last month more than they were supposed to. Duh, the economy better come in strong. And $4.2 trillion in the last 15 months. It is a financial crime. It's a crime that they don't go to jail for. But we segue again. How about them Mets? Do you know last night they couldn't hit a beach ball? And then we go to the ninth inning. And do you know there's what is known as live betting? Meaning the Mets go into the ninth inning down 2-0, can't hit anything. I could have probably put up $100 and won $2,500, maybe even more, on the Mets to win. Of course, I didn't do that. Anyway, the Mets won. Wow. They go up to Philly now, 3 out of 5. By the way, in case you don't know, that against Milwaukee, all 3 games in Milwaukee. So Philly's now 3 out of 5, 2 in Philly, 2 in New York, and if the 5th game, back to Philly. Philadelphia, the better team on paper, but I must tell you, I'm a real big believer in baseball. It is the hot team at the end of the year, and I'll tell you what the Mets have been doing that I love. They come from behind. When you keep coming from behind to win, you never, ever, ever give up. And in fact, towards the end of the game, you focus even more because you know you've done it before. And it tends to feed on itself. So it's going to get interesting. So we're in the divisional playoffs. Wow. Yankees are in. They play tomorrow night. I'll be in New York. I may go to the game. I'm not a big Yankees fan. But it's New York. But anyway, how about them Mets? So while I'm yapping at you about what I'm distressed over, I had a good evening sports-wise. Yay. We segue again. If you hear the words from anybody on Tube or wherever that the S&P has taken out the highs, the Dow has taken out the highs, it'll take more time on the NASDAQ 100. That'll give you a little cue that we've got more to go into the end of the year. I keep getting asked, the big ask I get right now is, what about the election? Well, first we have to get through earnings reports. That's number one. But what about the election? What do you think the market's going to do? Well, my answer pretty much is easy. I don't know. But I am pretty sure we're going to get gridlock. And I think the market's going to love that. I'm pretty damn sure the market will love gridlock. Which doesn't stop the Morlocks from doing bad things, because we are finding out what they can do with executive orders. But for the most part, Vice President Harris, if she wins, she ain't getting any tax hikes. Ain't going to be no unrealized tax. There's going to be no corporate, we're going to lose the Trump tax cuts. So that's that. But I think market already knows that. There's not going to be a wealth tax. There's not going to be a long-term capital gains tax hike. There'll be an amateur running the country. But then again, no comment on the past few. And I mean that. Other things I'm watching. We'll do that up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I forgot to tell you that we also told you that within the next few days they will not be striking at the ports anymore, and we were right about that. How did we know that? Because they got a talking to. Do you know that? The unions got a talking to. They were told there's a freaking election coming up. And if you want to put the economy into hell into an election, you're going to get Donald Trump as the president. Now, just so you know, they did not cut a deal. They were offered 50%, turned it down. They were just offered 66%. And what they did was they're going to table it to guess when? After the inauguration. Duh. What did we say? Game on. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now, ladies and gentlemen, with the Morlocks. And they have to do with one thing and one thing only. Power and control. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Every decision that's going to be made for the next 32 days is going to be based on making all the numbers look good, making the markets go higher. Every Dow point counts. And they're doing a great job. They got the Fed, the central bank, lower interest rates a whole half a percentage point, even though we're at 4.1% unemployment, and GDP, well, they tell us is at 3%, while they're mortgaging the hell out of the future. So I suspect market's got more to go, and let me state for the record, the market is set up for higher. And if the banks break out and Goldman Sachs breaks out, go look at the XLF, with China doing its thing now, which, by the way, as I said to you, and I'm not making it up, it's like the redwood trees topped out by the Eiffel Tower, and on top of that is the Seattle Space Needle. That's how vertical it's gone. And then we'll see what happens afterwards. Then we get back to reality. But right now, it's lipstick, I'd like to say on a pig, but we're not pigs. You get my point when I say that, right? North Carolina. I've been getting a lot of emails from people in Western North Carolina. Holy crap. I'm getting pictures from people. Holy crap. And of course, the reason why they never thought it can be this bad is they're very much inland. Hurricanes in North Carolina? But it moved fast, it's sustained, and in North Carolina, mountainous. So landslides, lakes overrun. I saw video of homes and trailers just running down streams and over waterfalls. And the amount that have passed away and missing. Wow. If you are able and would like to, you can just go online and click the words, "How can I help?" the people from the Hurricane Helene. There are multiple ways you can. Be careful of scams, though. Stay with the big ones. Some of those areas are my favorite places on earth. As I have told you, went to camp there, visited there. One of my favorite activities throughout my life, sliding rock. Asheville, Hendersonville, Chimney Rock, Lake Lure. Some of the most beautiful land that's out there. Do what you can if you can. Going into next week, I think maybe late next week we may be getting some bank reports, or is it the week after? Yeah, I think it's the week after. So we got another week where there's not a lot of earnings. There's no Fed. But dang, market set up. And some of our favorite growth names look ready. Some of the financials look ready. I usually have lots to complain about. I'm a whiner. Pretty darn good. So stay in tune. And if I come to you again hey, 5-month range breakout of this big name, you better be listening. I don't see many others in growth land, but you know where I'm seeing them? In some financials, big banks, and others. So be ready. That all said, you have a great weekend. Drive carefully. I'm heading up to New York to the parents. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.